We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Well, in the open, let's find out who's the Big Cheese. Well, so far, the Canes have 22 Big Cheeses that are committed to them.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the next one? Who's the next Big Cheese to get committed?
Well, I think somebody that the coaching staff has felt pretty good about, and they've been recruiting now for a while, is a linebacker, Kellen Wiley, 4-star out of Seffner Armwood. 6'4", 225, big time linebacker, kid that's really, I think, come on strong as a high school senior. Yesterday Miami sent an offer to Bradley Gompers, who's actually a Duke commitment. He's a 6'5", 215-pound linebacker / edge rusher from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Catholic. You remember that school, don't you?
All the time.
But I think they're in the running really to get Wiley. I think he's probably going to be the next one. When that happens exactly, I'm not sure. We do have the early signing periods in early December. So we have basically about 6 weeks left. I don't think we're going to see a huge rash of commitments, but if I had to put money on anybody at this point, it'd probably be Wiley.
All right. And if we get him a little lasagna, maybe some stuffed shells from the Big Cheese, then I think we'll get him committed. So it's not just NIL. You got to get him good food.
Yeah, you got to give it all, man. You got to give him the full South Florida experience, right? And taking him down to the beach, taking him down to
the Big Cheese.
The Big Cheese, all the fun party spots in South Florida, he'll happily oblige.
I'm with you there. All right, Elijah Griffin, the 5-star defensive lineman. Talk to me about him.
Yeah, he's going to be announcing today, I think around 1:20 p.m. is a ceremony at his school. Kid goes to Savannah Christian Prep in Georgia. He's a guy that Miami has been hot and heavy after for a long, long time. He's a 5-star defensive lineman, big kid. The problem for Miami is that Georgia has remained in the hunt for Elijah Griffin. He's a Georgia boy. He got his first offer from Georgia when he was in the 8th grade. And so I think everyone is sort of projecting that Griffin, when he makes his announcement today, will be picking the Georgia Bulldogs over Miami and USC. But again, this is also, we're in an era where a lot of these kids love to pull a surprise. So tune in and watch, see what happens when he makes his announcement. Maybe he surprises us all and picks Miami, but I think the safe bet is that he'll pick the Georgia Bulldogs.
If Griffin is looking at this team, are there a lot of people in front of him to play, or would he be coming in because he's 5-star and he'll get what's it called, an opportunity early on?
Well, Mario's proven he'll play freshman, right? He's done that all throughout his career here at Miami. Did it with Francis Mauigoa last year, right?
You earn it, you play. If you earn it, you play. That's it. That's who he is. He doesn't give a shit where you come from.
He doesn't care. OJ Frederic has been in the starting lineup. He's played a ton at cornerback at a position that we knew was weak coming into the year. So freshman came in, earned his spot. Look, Miami's recruited the defensive line position extremely well. You go back to last year, they signed 3 5-stars on the defensive line: Armando Blunt, Marquise Lightfoot, and Justin Scott. Justin Scott is a guy that everybody thinks is going to be a huge terror in college football starting next year and the year after. Right now, Miami doesn't need him. They've got enough depth, and they're in a situation where he can redshirt and adjust to the game and play, 10, 15 snaps a game if needed. But I think it's such a deep position that if you do not get Elijah Griffin, it is not the end of the world. And not only that, but, the way that Miami, they signed 8 guys on the defensive line last year. That's a lot of bodies in front of you. So I can understand why Elijah Griffin probably looks at Miami's depth chart and says, it's just too many other guys that have a year head start on me there. Whereas Georgia, they've got it humming every single year, right? Even though they're not number 1 in the country going into this game at Texas, it's Texas who's number 1. But Georgia at least is cranking out guys every year to the NFL at the defensive line position. That's the next step for Mario, is to try to get some of these guys drafted so that you start building the same sort of recruiting tool for yourself, where everybody says, well, not only will I go to Miami and play because I get the opportunity as a young player, but I'm going to be in the NFL after 3 years. And that's what's going to get you guys like Elijah Griffin.
All right, good shit there. The early signing period, or day that is, has been pushed up to December 4th through the 6th. How does that change things for Miami at all?
Well, last year and in the last couple of years, it's been the third week in December. So now what happens is you don't have that extra visiting period, right? Where people could come in and take a visit right before signing. It's fine. Oh, to be honest with you, the majority of these kids now, if you follow recruiting, all of these commitments, you look at Miami's recruiting class. I'm going to call it up right now on my screen. They've had one player commit since the football season started. Okay. And that was when they flipped the wide receiver from Florida, Joshua Moore, 2 weeks ago. Everybody else has been committed since June, July, August, or if not earlier, right? Quarterbacks commit so much earlier now. So the majority of kids take their visits in the summer. And what they end up doing, if you have any visit at all, it's basically turned into you visit for the game. And that's what Miami is doing. They're going to have visitors next week on campus for the Florida State game, to be here for the Florida State game. And you're going to have other guys down the road when they play Wake Forest. I think they've got Duke on the schedule after FSU. So those will all be games where you can bring the kids in, kind of have them be around the players, be in your atmosphere. Hopefully at that point, Miami's still unbeaten and top 5 in the country. And so you have that environment, you have people excited about the program, and that's going to be far more important than an official visit. So in the end, how does it affect it? You don't get that last visit in, the last official visit in anymore, because everybody's still playing football.
All right, good shit. And I think bringing them to a game is actually a good thing, because now you're playing well. Now you're getting good results.
Yeah.
Now you're a lot more exciting. Bringing them to a game wasn't necessarily enticing any in the past. Right. Now it's getting a lot better. There are more people in the stands. There's a better atmosphere. So now even the recruits get a better experience, I think. I like that overall. All right, what do you got going on in the Athletic, so folks can check you out, my friend, and subscribe?
Well, I mentioned earlier that I posted the freshman midseason All-America team when we did the previous segment. So if people want to go and check that out. No Hurricanes made the list this year. OJ Frederic was close at DB, but there were some other guys that made it ahead of him. And not only that, we got the latest ACC power rankings. Grace Rayner and I just turned that out, kind of a midseason look at every team in the ACC, what's going well for each team, what's going poorly for each team. Not a lot to report on Miami because things have been going really well. But for other teams in the ACC, future opponents, you can see what is ailing them before they face Miami.
All right, good shit. Follow them on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, have a great weekend, my brother. Enjoy the game tomorrow. We will catch up on Tuesday.
Absolutely, brother. You too. Take care.
Thank you, sir. That is the great Manny Navarro with our BigCheeseMiami.com NIL and recruiting report.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big